Happy 2023, everyone. I'm going to be making a video today about 3 major issues that the Christian church is dealing with, and then offer some resolutions and solutions for all 3 towards the end. So make sure you watch till the end. All right, now there's a lot of problems that I'm not going to cover, but I'm going to cover the 3 major ones that I see in modern times. So let's talk about the first one, the imagery, the false imagery of the depiction of Christ and how he looked. And some of these pictures and images are being hung on churches till this day. Now, some churches have removed that due to the historical information that has been presented in modern times and how that is viewed in a negative light. Because number one, some people are going to refer to Exodus chapter 20, verses 4-6. And basically that says we should not have any false imagery or worship of idols. And some people perceive that. But more importantly, behind that context, there is a group of indigenous people in the USA and also West Africa in particular that were slaves to the transatlantic slave trade who are stolen and sold from their homeland and brought to America. And both of these groups, the indigenous people of the land who were already here, and then the Africans who were transitioned into slavery and sold, neither one of these groups commonly practiced Christianity. And then when it was presented to them, it was forced down their throats with that image that they hang in these churches to this day. So that becomes problematic for somebody in that segment who wants to possibly convert over to Christianity or learn about it. They're being reminded of how their ancestors were treated with that image and force. And keep in mind, guys, slave masters misrepresented the Bible. They took the original form of the Bible and ripped out certain scriptures that talked about liberation and only uplifted scriptures that talked about captivity. And that's how it's presented. So every time you have a church with that image, that's what it represents symbolically. And if you have a church doing that, the church people in that church have to really be considerate of how it affected other people, despite if it didn't affect you and you see it as Christ. Not everyone sees it like that. Another issue is the tithing. You're going to have preachers who are manipulating people into giving their money, and then all of a sudden they take this money and they buy private jets, or they live in big fancy houses, or they have mega churches. Not all pastors do this, and not all pastors with a lot of luxurious stuff are pimping the pulpit, as I call it, but there are some who do. So at the end of the day, guys, we have to be mindful to separate those pastors who are abusing it and stealing from the church versus those who are really taking these resources and giving back as Christ would command. And the last issue is the homosexuality being viewed over heterosexuality, sexual immoral sins. People like to say homosexuality is an abomination and is worse than having sex with a woman not being married. That is not true biblically. If you go to Leviticus chapter 18, it has a long laundry list of immoral sexual relationships. And out of that long list, only one addresses homosexuality. The vast majority of those address heterosexual sins outside of marriage, and then one address bestiality. So in conclusion, guys, let's stop judging. Let's do more listening like Proverbs 18:13. And then let's be patient in love.